So, you don't know what to draw. Let's fix that. One of the most common questions I get is, how do you decide what to draw? And to be honest, I'm usually not drawing and then I just think of something that I want to draw and then I have to sit down and draw it. Other times I just pick up a pencil and art kind of just happens. And then the third way that I decide what to draw is I see an art supply that I just have to use. As soon as I see the art supply, I think of what I want to draw with it. Like it just instantly inspires me and then I draw something. But there's also times when none of those things work. Like today. It's just me, a pencil, and a blank page. So let's try a few things and see if we can fill this with some sketches that aren't just trees with the little hole in the trunk. You know what I'm talking about. I've done a lot of videos about like using different apps and like outside sources to kind of come up with what you draw, but sometimes you don't have access to that. So let's try and fill these pages without any of that fancy stuff. So what I'm going to do first is just draw the very first thing that comes to mind. It can be a simple shape, it can be a food, it can be a color. Well, maybe it can't be a color. But you know what? We're gonna make it work. And the first thing that I'm thinking of, oh geez. Stripes. So let's start off in this top left corner so we leave space if we come up with something really creative. But let's see, how many different ways can you draw stripes? You got something like this and then it looks like music. You can draw diagonal stripes that are like inside a box, maybe. You can have a t-shirt with stripes. You can even draw a person who wears stripes. Like that. So you can kind of see how a simple idea can slowly transform into something new just based on how you associate each thing. So like if I were to take stripes and then also add, say, I don't know, cheeseburger is the next word that's coming to mind. So like if I draw some cheeseburgers, you can try to somehow incorporate stripes or something else to our cheeseburger. Sometimes like fast food can be served in that like, is that a paper napkin? What is that? I don't know. It's sort of waxy. It's like parchment paper or something. But you have like a basket of some kind, and then inside it, you've got that like paper thing, and then inside that, you've got your burger and your French fries, and then this can be striped. I think the hardest thing about coming up with what you want to draw is that there's just so many unlimited possibilities. It's hard to narrow it down, you know? And that can be kind of daunting and also just overwhelming, and then your brain just like blanks out. So that's why I like to simplify it, sort of like this. We still haven't come up with an idea that I really want to go with yet, but we're starting to see how, look at this progress. This used to all be empty. Let's kind of mix some of these things together here. Maybe draw a character, because those are my favorite things to draw. And maybe this character works at a fast food joint. So maybe their hand's going back this way. And then they've got that tray of food behind their head. Ooh, have you ever been to one of those restaurants where the waiters have like outfits that they have to wear? The place coming to mind for me is Frankenmuth. And they serve fried chicken. You have to wear this like, I don't know what you would call that. Is it retro? Vintage? I don't know, but there's like skirts and puffy sleeves and aprons. And when I was a kid, I always wanted to work there just because of the outfits. So like they have, let's see if I can kind of draw this from memory. Since the goal today is to kind of not use the internet. They're kind of dressed like maids, honestly. So it's like an anime cafe, but Western. They have the big poofy sleeves, some food on this tray, maybe even some drinks, although I don't think that would be considered very smart. I feel like they actually had stripes. Let's add some tone here. I don't know if they wear these hat things. I feel like they wear something on their heads. Do they wear like a little cloth over their bun or something? And they got their apron, and inside that they've got some pens. I kind of really like this pose though, with the tray behind her head. So even though this sketch Could use a little more work. Especially if you're drawing in your sketchbook, don't be afraid to just experiment and fill the page with whatever. My favorite sketchbooks to flip through are the ones where you can kind of see someone's thought process. But I guess that's just kind of a personal preference. But don't let perfection stop you from trying. Let's try to draw more of a full body one over here, because I feel like there's space to draw a big poofy skirt. Let's draw a head. Maybe figure out where the body is. Some leggies. Maybe this leg is like pointy-toed. Maybe we'll draw it with this arm. Not sure what the collars look like. We got a little foot down there. They have like, I feel like they wear funny shoes, but they might also just wear normal shoes because they need to be comfortable. I really can't remember. It's been a while. Here I'm gonna try this bun thing. Looks like an ice cream. Ooh. Okay, so maybe she works at like a shop that sells ice cream and hamburgers. So maybe her outfit will be ice cream inspired. I feel like that kind of fits the stripies, doesn't it? So maybe she'll have a second scoop on her head. Oh, that's so funny. This one's gonna be mint chocolate chip on the bottom, and maybe the top one will be strawberry. That makes me kind of want to give her a visor, like they wear at Dairy Queen. But she obviously doesn't work at Dairy Queen. This is a bit of a more unique establishment. Let's give it more that like 1950s diner collar, like they wore in that show Raw as well. I don't know why that's the first thing that came to mind. I don't know how many of y'all seen that. Not the new one, the old one. I don't know what's going on in that new one. I have not really looked at that. So how can we make these sleeves more ice creamy? I also want the stripes. Stripes is what brought us here. I'm not ready to let those go. I think those are too big. You wouldn't really be able to work in that. On her tray, she can have little ice creams with cherries on top. I think I'm gonna shrink the sleeves a little. Maybe she's got a little pin of a burger. Oh, she needs a name tag if she's working, doesn't she? Maybe I should replace that. So maybe the name tag. It's got that, and then like there's the logo and the name of the place. Ice cream dream. I'm sure that's already been done. Or maybe it's just the ice dream. The ice dream. I don't know, that seems lame. Okay, but well, then maybe this has more of a retro shape to it. That like retro future. And then that has her name. Her name is Lisa. Again, we're running with what's ever on the top of my head. There's no wrong answers here. Yeah, that's a wonderful hand, isn't it? Perfect. Maybe it's like a moon with a scoop of ice cream on it. Ice cream. Don't love ice cream as much as I used to. So there we have our name tag. The main thing when you're filling a sketchbook is just to draw what you want to draw, and because it's your place for art, right? And I think definitely I had this problem growing up, so I'm sure someone has to. I can't be the only one. I mean, it's possible. But I tried to draw like my bestest drawing, like one drawing right in the middle of each page of a sketchbook, and I like really tried to make it perfect, and if it didn't look perfect, I'd try to erase it, and then you end up with like a big crinkly piece of paper that nothing looks good on, and you feel really bad about yourself, and then you don't draw for a month. So the way I like to tackle this now that I'm older and wiser is by filling the page with so many sketches that it's hard to see the bad ones, you know? I really like the idea of her wearing like pretty normal sneakers with this kind of odd uniform. And if you like realize that something you're drawing is not what you want to draw, guess what? Look at all these pages you still got. Just move along. And once I find something that I like, maybe we'll throw some markers on the finished version. She's just got like a normal t-shirt, maybe like a band t-shirt on underneath it. Like a graphic tee. What if the moon is a scoop? Is that possible? With one of those like buttons on it? Shoot, I don't really know what those look like. I'm gonna add more stripes. I feel like it's a little plain. Oh, I forgot a little pocket. Okay, now I've got a pretty decent idea of what the outfit's gonna look like. I might change it up a little bit for the finished drawing, but I kind of want to work a little bit more on the character design, because right now the clothes are definitely wearing her, and maybe I want her to show through a little bit more. So why don't we give her some personality? Let's work on her face. That's usually where most of the personality is, isn't it? Oh, you know what? I have this like idea about kids that work at a certain location. I feel like this would be this is just brainstorming and like kind of bringing in some world building that I have already put the effort into. But I have a character who I think it would be hilarious if this was her first job before she got the job from the story that I kind of have in my head. And her name is Vanessa. That's close to Lisa, isn't it? She also has purple hair, which is fun. And she's never in a good mood. But I feel like every character named Vanessa in TV shows is kind of like that. Maybe I should rethink her name. Oh, but she has a rounder face than that. That's too chiseled. She's also only 4'11". She's a little shorty. But I love her. She wears some nice makeup. Dark lips. Oh yeah, there she is. Very straight hair. Ice cream bun. Oh, Vanessa, what am I doing to you? You hate this. You hate this. She kind of looks a little bit like Vanellope von Schweetz with this ice cream on her head. We went from this to this. If this is before her job, it'd be really funny if like her parents own this restaurant or something. And they're like, unless you find another job, you're working here. And she didn't find another job yet. Ooh, maybe it's a little big on her. Not only does the style not suit her, but the size is wrong. Which I feel like just furthers that idea that she doesn't belong here. So there'd be like a little extra built up on the top because she's all still tying it at her waist. Or we could put it lower, but I'm not sure how I would draw that. And then her band t-shirt. Let's see. Let's try this again here. Something's not really working. Let me simplify the character design. I think she had a pretty small chin if I remember. This just doesn't suit her at all. I think it's too much of a juxtaposition. But you see what I mean when I say if it's not turning out the way you want, and whatever you're trying to fix it doesn't seem to be working, you just move over to another blank space, you know? And that way, if you do see it and you kind of are inspired to fix it, you can come back. If you erase it, you don't really have that option. I actually just shrank it a little bit more and I like it even more. I'm changing that to wherever. Welcome to wherever. What do you want to eat? So here's what we have so far. Why don't I try, we're gonna grab a Cool Erase colored pencil with the hopes of maybe using marker and coloring our idea. So let's make sure we do a full body shot because that's kind of what I'm feeling. I wanted to kind of have her personality, but I also really like that pose with the food on the shoulder in the tray. Let's see how I can kind of like take her demeanor but like maintain some of that pose that I like. Let's see. So we got the tray, got a head here. So she's just like, see how the arms are opened and the body's kind of loose? I feel like that's more inviting than a super stiff looking character. Figure out where we want the face before we add too many details. Got our ice cream bun. Maybe she's slouching a little, slouching forward, but then her hips are kind of like this way. Maybe stuff is spilling off of the tray behind her. I think I'm gonna keep the poofy skirt. Now, I've always drawn her in platform shoes, so I'm not gonna change that now. Now, the reason I like to use a Cool Erase pencil when I'm doing markers, especially a pink one, is one, because you can kind of erase most of your mistakes. Like, it doesn't erase completely, but it erases more than like a Crayola colored pencil. And I love the way the pink looks underneath markers. Let's put this hand in this pocket maybe. Maybe she's wearing tights, but then she's also wearing socks over top of them. I think I'm gonna add sprinkles or something to the uniform. Now, I don't really have enough space in the shirt here to really show anything super obvious, so I'm gonna go a little bit typical here and just make it a skull so you know that that's what she's more interested in. I feel like that's not very unique, but I feel like it helps tell the story I'm trying to tell here. Now, looking up at the camera, I see she's kind of a little off balance here. So why don't we try moving this leg in a bit? So more in front of her like this, because I don't want to spread them any further apart. Does that work? Is she more balanced now? Maybe. And then maybe her tights have little rips in them. I don't know, I don't think I've ever drawn Vanessa in like her normal clothes because her other job also has a uniform. She kind of just looks like an annoyed Tinkerbell. And that's why she never wears her hair up, I guess. Those eyes got huge. What happened? Oh, there's a face. What if the apron's a little lopsided here? Tied a little awkward and lower. Falling ice cream. Here you go, something like this. I'm going to erase just a smidge, just rolling my kneaded eraser on it. Just to lift a little bit of pigment. So that I can start putting the line art maybe on top. Try and clean this a little. Good job, Beluga. All right, let's finish drawing this grumpy Tinkerbell. Ugh, I gave that a little too much breeze. That's cute, just like her. Maybe some flying bits here. For stripes and everything, I think I'm going to actually use the color. All right, let me grab my markers. Okay, so the one thing I know is that her hair is purple. I got a little something to test the colors, and we can even tape this in here so it's like a fun little, I don't know, flap. Let's see, which color do I want to be her hair? That's the one thing I know I want. Maybe even throw a little purple down here. We can go over that with another color to layer it. I'm seeing like a ice bluey kind of color for the skirt. Not sure. Well, we wanted something stripy. I don't know, I was kind of picturing these two kind of colors. It's not a whole lot of contrast there. Let me get a different brown maybe. I feel like that's the same color her shoes would be. I'm not being very careful about staying in the lines. What the heck? Let me try something different. What about like a bright blue for the dress? I did want it to be striped, so maybe this and like another blue. Keep it a little bit more neutral. You know, that might work. Let's try that. So I'm gonna fill the whole thing in with ice mint. And then we can add the stripes over top of that. Add a second layer to kind of even that out. Okay, and then we can go to Jasper and add in some stripes. Might have to do another layer of Jasper to darken that up. Make it more obvious. Although I was kind of thinking I wanted the apron to be pink. It's a little desaturated. I was thinking brighter than that. Maybe sardonyx. Ooh, yeah, see, that seems a little bit more ice creamy to me. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. Let's try that for the apron. Yeah, let's do the same thing for all the things we colored in blue. For skin, she has a very, very, very light skin tone. Probably almost white. And that is not it. It kind of makes sense. Like Blue Moon might be their specialty ice cream. Stay in our color scheme. Maybe even some blue shakes. Oh, we need some cherry. Coloring these cherries. Go over them a couple times with the same color instead of bringing in a new color. Because I kind of want to limit my color palette to hopefully make the overall, you know, drawing look a little better. I can maybe try layering it with this purple so that it's a whole new color without venturing too far away from what we already have. And then I'm going to also try and use this purple for shading. Wherever it wants to work is fine with me. Shade under the tray. I'll see if I can make them look more like glasses. It's tricky. Can't say I've spent a lot of time drawing transparent objects. That might be something to add to the to-do list. Let me grab a white gel pen. Add a little something here and there. Her ears are so tiny and kind of cute. And this gel pen, you can actually let it dry and use Copic markers on top of it, which I kind of like. So I'm gonna let those dry and then maybe paint some of them pink and some of them blue. And just while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm just gonna draw something else in this empty space. I'm having a hard time staying in the size of the sprinkle, and I end up painting on the outside of it, which isn't that pretty of a look. Looking back, I kind of like these. I like the shape of these glasses. That's why it's always nice to like look back at your progress and kind of see and pinpoint what you like the best, and then you can use that further on down the road. I wish you all luck with your own art, and hope maybe that I don't know what to draw feeling won't be so scary in the future. hopefully maybe some of these tips were a little bit helpful in some way. And the next time you really don't know what to draw, you can still find a way to draw something. And maybe it's not as scary as it can sometimes feel. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys all next week, and I hope you have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye!